Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Life with Marianne and Joe. In today's episode, what you're going to be seeing is my under the Tuscan sun fall dining room tablescape. And actually you're going to see two different tablescapes. Wasn't intentional. I did one, I hated it, and I did another one. So I hope you enjoy both of them. So stay tuned. Like I said in previous videos, I take a lot of my inspiration from paintings and still lives like the ones that I'm showing here. You can see this bountiful harvest look with these deep, rich colors inspire me to try to recreate that in a still life, but in real time. Sometimes I'm more successful than others. It depends on the things that I have on hand. So I hope you will enjoy the coming video, the two tablescapes that I've done trying to recreate a still life. All right, so let's continue with our Under the Tuscan Sun theme for the dining room. And I don't know if you caught my videos, the top of the china closet and the contents of the china closet. And now today we're going to be working on the dining room table. I have to clear this off and then I have to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm going to not buy anything. I'm going to look through things that I have. All right, clean slate, and let's get started. All right, I started with this brown runner, which actually isn't a runner. It's a tablecloth that I just folded into the shape of a runner. All right, next to incorporate some Rustic Charm, I'm going to use this burlap bag here on top of that. Hey, anybody remember when Ricky and Fred had dresses made for Lucy and Ethel out of burlap? That's what that reminds me of. All right, so there is the burlap. I just had to have a little bit of an argument with it to get it to where I wanted it to be. If you're wondering why the lighting looks a little bit weird, it's because it's late at night, obviously. It's been a busy day for Marianne and me today. So here is that next step. Now I have to start thinking what I'm going to put in there. Let me see if this might work. It has kind of like an old world kind of look to it. All right, so I put in some yellow leaves to pick up the yellow from the china hutch, and some sunflowers and some curly willow. And in this large wicker tray, I put in two, I think they were actually dishcloths, but we've been using them for a variety of things in fall. So I put in a green one and a gold one, and it has a nice texture against all of it. It adds one more layer of texture. So I'm going to put some gourds in here, I think. So far, this is what it's looking like. All right, so next I added a little bit of greenery. And these are some gourds that actually I had outside from last year, and I kept them in the shed the whole year. And I repainted them to bring them back to life again. So I made that basket with those gourds. And this is a 3-tiered tray that I got from my mother-in-law. And I made it into like a fruit presentation right there, as you can see. This is another basket. I put another one of those cloths in there with some apples, and take a look at that bottle of wine with the wicker bottom. That really is old-fashioned Italian. And at each end I added in two pieces of greenery just to extend the length and kind of bring it to a tapered point at each end. I got rid of that basket, if you notice, and here I'm using this tray that a good friend gave us with grapes and fruit on it, and I put in some apples and pears. Again, I thought that was more appropriate, and it kind of balanced out the whole piece a little bit better than it was before. That wicker basket on the end gave a bad height. It was just not aesthetically pleasing. So you can see here I'm just panning down, taking a look at the bountiful harvest that I produced with what I had on hand. And I think it does kind of look very Tuscan-ish. Okay, so unfortunately, after all that, I really wasn't happy with the outcome. So I took everything apart. You can see it's on the floor there, and I restarted again. I moved that centerpiece to the center of the table, and then I'm using a piece of garland here as my base. What I then began to do was taking some floral wire and inserting it into the fruit. Here you see the apple with the floral wire in it. And I started to randomly attach the apples that I had available to that piece of garland. I then repeated that process with the pears. Same way, I put the floral wire in there and I added the pears onto the garland. I then used other pieces of fruit I had, such as orange and red apples and ears of corn and so on, to complete the look that I was after. All right, so let's take a look at what I did here. You can see it is still very bountiful. It's just more elongated now, and it doesn't have so many different components to it. So what I did was I added in some of the green pumpkins to, pick up what I have. You can see I have the pears, I have gourds, I have the apples, and I have some white pumpkins in the back as well, some chestnuts, and so on. And then I added in leaves, and I just put in some sunflowers at each end, and then you'll notice I added in a lot of pine cones. And I wanted to fill in this arrangement so that you didn't see so much of the garland, and therefore I use the pine cones because I always use them as fillers. Here we are taking a look down the table. And here we are at another angle down the table. Close up. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Like always, give me a thumbs up if you would please. I would greatly appreciate it. And drop me a comment and subscribe. It's free if you made it to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed my indecision here and my two tablescapes. This might change again. Who knows? By the time you see the house tour, it might change. I don't know. But for now, right now, today, it is what it is, and it is going to be that way. My bountiful, under the Tuscan sun tablescape. Okay, everybody, have a great day. I'll be seeing you really soon. Stay tuned for the next episode. Bye-bye.